Hi everyone, I am dating and relationship coach Jackie Blake, and happy Beltane. Beltane is on May 1st, and it is the Celtic holiday that represents the beginning of summer. It happens directly in the middle of the spring equinox and summer solstice, and like I said, represents the beginning of summer. It is generally celebrated with big bonfires that are meant to have protective powers, and it's celebrated largely in places with a Celtic heritage like Ireland and Scotland. Hello, my two favorite places on earth. Last Beltane, I had the pleasure of being in Edinburgh, and I went to the Beltane Fire Festival, and of course there's a story, and of course there's a lesson, and I actually wrote about this story in my book, Dating is a Spiritual Adventure. So if you like the story, please pick up a copy on Amazon, and if you like the book, leave me a review. If you don't like the book, just use it for kindling in your next Beltane Fire Festival and forget about it. So, like I said, I was on vacation in Edinburgh. I decided to sign up for a few dating apps because I think that sort of thing is fun over there. I was at a coffee shop actually working on this book, and the following message came in. And I'm gonna read it from the book because I don't want to get it wrong because it was fabulous. So, following message comes in on Tinder. You've a pretty smile, and I'm a sucker for strawberry blondes. What will it take to persuade you to sling on a little black dress, some killer heels, and have you join me for cocktails? Let's get elegantly wasted and flirt furiously. See if I can't persuade you back to my flat. XOXOX. My goodness, these Brits really do have a way with words. Now, wow. Okay, I mean, I was really blown away. That was like the most hot message I've ever gotten on a dating app, but I'm not one that's into random hookups. So I said, you know what, let me just ignore it. This guy and I are on two different pages, not really for me, I'm gonna ignore it. But I swear to you, this message haunted me from my inbox for the next 36 hours. So I decided to respond. That was what my intuition was telling me to do. And I said, again, I don't want to mess it up, so I'm going to read. I said, you know, I'll be honest. This is the most scintillating message I've ever gotten through internet dating. I'm not one for hookups with strangers, but I can't stop thinking about your message and how sexy you would sound saying it with a British accent. Here's the problem. I don't have a dress. It's freezing in Edinburgh. Or heels, I mean, cobblestone, hilly streets. Isn't that a recipe for disaster? I'm not sure what we should do here, but I at least wanted to let you know that what you wrote was the sexiest proposition I've ever gotten in my life. Thank you. He replied, well, I'd imagine it in a dirty South London accent. Whew. I'm delighted and dismayed by the fact that it's the most scintillating proposition you've ever had. I'd have hoped that my fellow gents would have had at least a sprinkle of good game. P.S. they don't. Anyway, so let's not worry too much about the dress and heels. Substitute that for whatever makes you feel like $1 million. Crap, now I'm sucked in. Like, now I have to meet this guy, right? So he called me, on WhatsApp, and we talked for half an hour, and here's the deal. He's a really good-looking guy of British descent, living in Edinburgh. He is in an open relationship, and she is his primary partner, and they have rules about their dealings with others. And he's really into the fetish world, specifically ropes, suspension, tying people up, getting tied up, that sort of thing. And I told him, I was like, look, I'll just be honest with you, that is not my world. You know, if you want someone that's gonna participate in that and be in it, maybe you don't wanna hang out with me, because that's not what I'm looking for. Like, I just wanted to meet some cool people and hang out. And he said, you know what, let's forget about all that. I just would like to meet you. Now here's the truth. If I had gotten this information from someone I met on a dating app in New York and New Jersey, I would have been like, bye, Felicia, okay? Just not for me. But I'm on vacation, so obviously the rules are a little more lax. And here's the other thing. At no time did I say to me, there's something I can't trust about this man. He described himself as an ethical hedonist, and that's how I experienced him. He really was who he claimed to be, and also told me the truth up front and didn't lie about anything. And it sort of reminded me of Joseph Campbell's A Hero's Journey, in which he talks about the common archetypal threads that run through everyone's personal hero journey that you're on, that I'm on, okay? And he talks about on the hero's journey that you'll meet friends that look like enemies and enemies that look like friends. And where sort of on my dating hero's journey, someone could argue someone in an open relationship is actually an enemy, he totally treated me like a friend. So we decided to meet. That Saturday night, the city of Edinburgh was having their Beltane Fire Festival at this hill in the middle of the city, and there was drumming, like these huge fire displays, fabulously body painted, fire wielding performers, and it was really great. We met there. When we met, this guy, we'll call him British Christian Grey. He was wearing a kilt. Sweet Jesus, somebody help me. I was like, hey. So we had a good time. And before we met, he had actually said to me, hey, by the way, I've got an extra ticket to the invite-only after party, which is going to be at this nightclub in town. There's going to be body paint. So we're going to be dancing till 5 a.m. Don't wear anything that you don't mind being covered in body paint. And here I am like, okay, dancing till 5 a.m. covered in body paint with a complete stranger? Yes. Y-A-S, yes. Okay. So we got to the after party afterward, and again, you had to get there before 1:30 a.m., at which point I found out it was going to be a lock-in, which means you get there before 1:30 and then they lock the doors and no one leaves till 5 a.m., okay? And I'll just be straight with you. My inner New York Jew is freaking out. Like literally, I am George Costanza on the inside, and I'm sitting there like, what if I want to leave? What if I'm bored? What if I'm tired? What if I hate it? And I obviously talked myself off the neurotic ledge and just said, you know what, Jackie, you're on vacation. You've got nowhere to be. Just roll with it. Basically, this party was one of the sickest nights of my life. It was all of the performers from the Beltane Festival and their friends, body painted drumming party. There was body paint circulating, so we applied, British Christian Grey and I applied it to each other. So here I am walking around the club in my bra and skinny jeans and body paint, which, it's funny side note, as I told this story to some of my gay friends back home, that this was like the wildest, sexiest night of my life, of me walking around a nightclub in a bra, body painted. They informed me that that is a really boring gay Tuesday, but in the straight world, that's a really hot straight Saturday. Anyway, side note. Basically, it was a painted drumming dance party until 3:30 a.m. Then the DJ spun until 5 a.m. I did not want to leave the club once. We were totally making out in the club. British Christian Grey knew a lot of people there, so he was introducing me to people. We were having fun, dancing, and finally, when the lights came up at 5 a.m., I was covered in paint and sweat and smiling like I haven't in a long time. Essentially, it was Dirty Dancing 2016, and it was awesome. So at that point, at the end of the party, all of the painted dancers and their friends were going to go on a sunrise hike to Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. And honestly, it was 5 a.m. I had to throw in the towel, y'all. I was done. So Mr. Christian Grey and I said goodbye. I actually didn't end up meeting with him again. I think we realized we were really on two different pages, even though, we enjoyed hanging out. He's still a friend to this day. I have nothing but fond memories of meeting him, and he's actually signed up for my newsletter and will be watching this video. So what's up, Christian Grey? You know who you are. How are you? And if you would like to sign up for my newsletter, please go to JackieBlake.com and sign up. So there's obviously a bunch of lessons here, but here's one. So I am a dating and relationship coach, and I am not the type of dating and relationship coach that will tell you when you're on vacation to run from open relationship ropes and suspension guy. Okay, people, I'm the adventure whisperer. I will tell you to run from someone who doesn't respect your boundaries, run from someone who wants you to do something you don't want to do. That's not cool. Or run from someone who says they're one thing, but then behaves like in another thing entirely, okay? However, this guy was really upfront about who he was. There was no games, and he actually completely respected my boundaries. So I really had no problem with that, and I had a great adventure and a great story and just a great new experience of myself. Now, some people will argue, oh, come on, Jackie, you can't trust a man like that. To which I would like to offer that you don't actually have to trust him, you have to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself to trust and listen to your intuition, that if something feels wrong, that you don't dive in, that trust yourself to maintain your boundaries, okay? And how do we trust ourselves? Well, you practice at home. You practice with mundane situations, with people in your life, upholding your boundaries and your integrity, who you are and how you would have others treat you, so that when you're in a foreign country with people you don't know, in a place you don't know, you've already practiced the skills of listening to your intuition and trusting yourself. You don't need to trust someone else when you trust yourself, because 99.9% of the time, you will feel something is wrong here and you will vacate the situation before something bad happens. To that end, I would like to offer, it's just my personal belief, that if you are going to travel by yourself to foreign countries with people you don't know, it is imperative that you remain relatively sober in order to hear your own intuition. Maybe it's possible to listen to your inner directives while under the influence of drugs or alcohol. I don't know how to do that. I don't know anyone that successfully knows how to do that. If you know how to do that, let me know, okay? I know my limits when it comes to alcohol. I don't take drugs. So I know how much I can handle in order to listen to my intuition and trust myself to maintain my boundaries. To that end, I would also offer to never accept a drink that you did not see poured with your own eyes. Even on this trip, Mr. Christian Grey offered me a sip of his beer. I didn't see that drink poured. I don't know what he did with it all night. I said no. I only drank the drinks that I saw the bartender pour and that I had been tending all night. In my personal opinion, this is the biggest safety concern for women traveling by themselves. So, happy Beltane, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this story, and please reach out to me if you would like to do some coaching for yourself. Have a great day.